Baldoni has tried to manipulate, threaten, control, and otherwise act inappropriately towards Miss Ferrer. In fact, Baldoni's legal team has gone as far as citing a phony case, and then they get into all of the other pieces of that to create havoc on a young, up-and-coming, and talented actress and to violate this court's policies. So it goes over and over. They call Baldoni a bully. They say, hey, no surprise, this is just like what we expected from a guy who's been accused of X, Y, and Z.
But this Isabelle Ferrer shit has got me fired up. This is a hatchet job. This is bullshit. And I'm going to tell you why. And let me be clear. This is not about Isabelle Ferrer. Do not blame Isabelle Ferrer in the slightest. She is a young woman. She is an artist. She is just trying to deal with what is probably a very difficult situation for her. This is not in any way, shape, or form an indictment of her. But what these lawyers have done in her name makes my blood boil. And it makes my blood boil because it is the kind of sort of lowbrow, hacky lawyering that makes me really upset.
The Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni legal war just took a shocking turn. And this time, it's not what you'd expect. While the world watches two Hollywood heavyweights battle it out, a third player has entered the ring with what legal experts are calling the most catastrophic courtroom blunder they've seen in years. Could this single filing destroy a young actress's career before it even begins? Was this calculated move actually a desperate attempt to avoid revealing damaging testimony? And why are seasoned attorneys literally losing their minds over what they're calling hack lawyering that makes their blood boil? Before we dive into this legal train wreck, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell because this case is moving fast and you won't want to miss what happens next. Trust me, what you're about to hear will change everything you thought you knew about this Hollywood scandal. The bombshell centers on Isabelle Ferrer, the 26-year-old actress who played young Blake Lively, and it ends with us. Fresh court documents reveal that Ferrer's legal team has launched what can only be described as a scorched earth attack on Baldoni's lawyers, making accusations so explosive they're sending shockwaves through the legal community.
I have had my moments where I have not been thrilled with either the Lively attorneys nor the Baldoni attorneys in this case, but they are good lawyers. They are practicing at a pretty high level, but this is not that. This is not that. First of all, you lost me when you signed a declaration under penalty of perjury with the court and you didn't even spell the name of Wayfarer right. They spelled it wrong, and then they spelled it wrong throughout the entire document. Now, I do enough captions on videos about Wayfarer that I know that sometimes it auto-corrects to like Wayfair, the furniture company. But this is intentional. This is just sloppy bullshit, and it already has me mad. Sorry, that's how I was taught. But essentially what is happening here is that Isabelle Ferrer responded to a subpoena from Lively and now doesn't want to respond to a subpoena from Wayfarer. She doesn't want to talk to them. She doesn't want to deal with them. And again, I don't necessarily blame her because I'm sure she is in a very awkward position here. But what her lawyers have ginned up as the reasons and then flipped it to act as if what the Wayfarer legal team is doing is something that's like borderline criminal. I mean, they use the word extort, is such a misrepresentation of how this stuff works.
But here's where it gets interesting. Legal experts aren't backing Ferrer. They're absolutely furious with her attorneys. Enter Not Actually Golden, a respected legal analyst known for her measured takes on celebrity cases. This time, she's fired up like never before, calling Ferrer's legal filing a hatchet job and lowbrow hacky lawyering that makes her blood boil. And when lawyers start losing their composure like this, you know something serious is happening. The core issue is straightforward. Ferrer responded to Blake Lively's subpoena, but now refuses to comply with Baldoni's legal team's request for testimony. Her lawyers aren't just saying no, they're launching a full-scale assault, accusing Baldoni's team of manipulation, threats, and inappropriate behavior.
For it simply for responding to a subpoena is definitely questionable in terms of whether this provision even covers it. So they have gotten into a dispute about that, rightfully so in my opinion, that they have been arguing about for months and they've now decided needs to go in front of an arbitrator to decide. Okay, fine. But then they make this representation that Wayfarer, who in the motion they call Baldoni, exclusively Baldoni, as if it's him personally, and not the "it ends with us LLC" or the lawyers, as if it's him as a person, that the lawyers are holding over their head. Well, if you want us to indemnify you, then we get to control it. That's how indemnification works. When someone indemnifies another party and says, we'll pay all of your legal costs, you don't just say, oh, tell me who you've decided to hire. Oh, is it $9 billion an hour? Oh, let me write a check. Indemnification, especially for legal costs, always means that whoever is doing the indemnifying, whoever is paying the bills, gets some or all of the say in who you hire, how much they charge, and what goes on there. So this idea that like it was totally improper for them to say, well, if you want us to indemnify you, we're gonna have to be part of or control what happens here. To characterize that as some kind of like quasi-criminal act is absolutely unprofessional.
Here's what Ferrer's attorneys are specifically claiming in their court filing. They allege that Baldoni's legal team has tried to manipulate, threaten, control, and otherwise act inappropriately toward their client. They're painting Baldoni's lawyers as bullies who are creating havoc for a young, up-and-coming actress while violating court policies. But here's the kicker. They're claiming Baldoni's lawyers cited a phony case and are trying to extort their client. These are not minor legal disagreements. These are career-ending accusations that could result in disbarment if proven true. The legal filing goes even further, essentially calling Baldoni himself a proven monster and suggesting that his legal team's behavior is exactly what you'd expect from someone facing serious accusations. But here's what makes legal experts so angry. None of this appears to be backed by actual evidence of misconduct. What's particularly damaging is how sloppy the entire filing is. Not actually Golden pointed out that Ferrer's lawyers couldn't even spell Wayfarer correctly throughout the document. That is Baldoni's production company. They also misgendered their own client, referring to Isabelle as Mr. Ferrer in official court documents. These aren't typos. They're signs of legal work so careless it borders on malpractice. The strategic implications are staggering. By making these explosive accusations without solid evidence, Ferrer's team is essentially betting their entire legal careers on proving that routine discovery requests constitute criminal behavior. If they're wrong, and every legal expert who's reviewed this believes they are, this could destroy their reputation permanently. Why would Ferrer's team risk everything on such explosive claims? Could they actually have evidence of prosecutorial misconduct, or is this a desperate Hail Mary from lawyers who know their client's testimony could be devastating to Lively's case? The timing is suspicious. Ferrer's involvement is not peripheral. Her scenes as young Lily are specifically cited in Lively's complaint as evidence of Baldoni's alleged inappropriate on-set behavior. She's not just a witness. She's potentially the key to understanding what really happened during those controversial filming sessions. But there's another layer to this that makes it even more concerning. Multiple legal analysts have noted that what Ferrer's team is calling manipulation and extortion appears to be standard legal discovery practice. When you're mentioned in a lawsuit, as Ferrer is in Lively's original complaint, both sides have legitimate legal rights to question you about relevant events. The pattern suggests something darker, that Ferrer's testimony might actually support Baldoni's version of events rather than Lively's. Think about it. If her account backed up Lively's accusations, why would there be such desperate legal maneuvering to avoid letting Baldoni's team hear the same story? Let's rewind for a second to understand how we got here. The original Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni case erupted when Lively accused her co-star and director of creating a hostile work environment during filming. Her complaint painted Baldoni as someone who went off-script during intimate scenes and made sexually inappropriate comments, particularly during sequences involving Ferrer's character. Baldoni's response was immediate and aggressive. He denied everything and called for complete transparency. His team demanded all footage, all text messages, everything to be made public. This is not the behavior of someone with something to hide. That's where Isabelle Ferrer becomes crucial. As the actress who portrayed young Lily in the flashback scenes that Lively specifically mentions in her complaint, Ferrer witnessed whatever did or didn't happen during those allegedly inappropriate moments. Both sides want her testimony, but for very different reasons. Lively's team got her cooperation first. Ferrer complied with their subpoena. But when Baldoni's lawyers came knocking with their own legal requests, everything changed. Instead of quiet compliance or even a simple refusal, Ferrer's attorneys launched what legal experts are calling a nuclear option, a filing so aggressive and accusatory that it's raised more questions than it answered. The problem? Ferrer is not some naive teenager caught in the crossfire. She's 26 years old enough to make her own legal decisions, yet her lawyers are treating this case like she's a victim of legal bullying rather than a professional actress who worked on a major Hollywood production. This entire filing creates a public record of Ferrer appearing to coordinate with Lively's legal strategy. Whether that's true or not, the optics are devastating for someone who should be maintaining neutrality as a witness. This case is revealing something darker about how celebrity legal warfare operates in Hollywood. If Ferrer is being guided by Lively and Ryan Reynolds, as some legal observers suspect, we're watching a masterclass in how powerful celebrities can pressure witnesses to choose sides. The career implications for Ferrer are staggering. As attorney Katie Pope noted while walking her dogs, this is probably not a good career move for her to not be kind of playing nice in the sandbox. In an industry built on relationships, alienating potential employers by appearing to play legal games is career suicide. But there's a bigger question lurking beneath the surface. What is Ferrer's testimony worth that it would justify this level of legal scorched earth? If her account supports Lively's version of events, why the desperate-seeming legal maneuvering to avoid Baldoni's questions? The pattern suggests the opposite, that Ferrer's first-hand account might actually exonerate Baldoni and expose Lively's complaint as fabricated or exaggerated. Why else would there be such resistance to letting both sides hear the same story? Looking ahead, this case could set a precedent for how witness testimony is weaponized in celebrity legal battles. If Ferrer's legal strategy succeeds, it opens the door for other witnesses to selectively cooperate based on which side serves their career interests rather than legal obligations. And if this case moves forward to trial, which seems increasingly likely given the escalating stakes, it could expose everything. Every text message, every piece of set footage, every behind-the-scenes conversation that led to this moment. The jury won't just be deciding between Lively and Baldoni. They'll be evaluating whether Hollywood's power structures can manipulate the legal system itself. What do you think? Is Isabelle Ferrer a victim caught between two legal teams, or is she a willing participant in what might be an orchestrated attack on Justin Baldoni? Drop your take in the comments below, and let us know if you think this legal strategy will backfire as spectacularly as the experts predict. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell because when this case explodes, and it will explode, you'll want to be the first to know what happens next.